Today, we're diving headfirst into the high-stakes world of deception. We're not talking about gut feelings or some kind of sixth sense. We're talking about a protocol, a system that professionals use to slice right through a lie and find the truth. So let's pull back the curtain on this secret protocol.
Yeah, that's right. Every single day. We are absolutely swimming in a sea of deception, from the tiny little white lies to the big earth-shattering ones. They're just a part of our daily lives. But the real question is, how many of those do we actually catch?
The answer? Well, it's not great. Turns out our natural ability to spot a lie is only about 54% accurate. That is barely better than flipping a coin. You might as well just guess. But what if I told you that guessing is for amateurs? There is a much, much better way. For agencies like the FBI, this isn't about intuition. It's about a systematic approach, one that understands the fundamental conflict that happens inside our heads. The battle between the brain, which is wired for truth, and the mouth, which is being forced to lie. Today, we're going to unpack that exact protocol. Here's the game plan. We're going to walk through this step by step, starting with the single biggest mistake people make, and then move right into the exact techniques the pros use. So let's start with the foundation. All right, the number one mistake pretty much everyone makes in lie detection is they immediately start looking for the lie. The pros, they do the complete opposite. They start by looking for the truth. This is all about finding the baseline. Think about it. It's actually pretty simple. You can't possibly spot what's abnormal if you don't know what's normal for that specific person, right? How do they normally talk? How do they usually sit? What do they do with their hands when they're just relaxed and telling the truth? That's your baseline. It's the yardstick you'll measure everything else against. And this process starts the second you meet someone. As this FBI doctrine shows, it's not something you turn on later. Those first few moments, the casual small talk, that is a golden opportunity to see someone's natural, unguarded behavior, way before any tough questions are ever on the table. Okay, so once you have that baseline, it is time to apply some pressure. And I'm not talking about accusing them or getting in their face. No, you apply pressure directly to their brain. Let's dig into how that works. You see, the science behind this is fascinating. Telling the truth is easy. Your brain just recalls. But lying? Oh, lying is hard work. You have to invent the lie, remember all the details of that lie, actively suppress the truth you're hiding, and on top of all that, you have to act convincingly. It's an incredible amount of mental weight. And this is one of the most powerful ways to exploit that mental weight. It's brilliant. First, you just let them tell their rehearsed story, from beginning to end. Then, you throw them a curveball. You say, "Great, now tell me that exact same story, but backwards. Start at the end and work your way to the beginning." And here's why that works. Someone telling the truth is just replaying a memory. They can rewind it, fast forward it, no problem. But a liar? They're reciting a fragile, pre-built script. Forcing them to go backwards puts so much strain on their brain that it starts to lag, to glitch. You'll see pauses, errors, and sometimes the entire story just falls apart. Now, while the liar's brain is working overtime just to keep the story straight, their body often starts to betray them. The limbic system, that's our primal, instinctive brain, it starts leaking the truth through little nonverbal tells, even when the mouth is saying the exact opposite. And here's an amazing insight from a former FBI agent. We all learn to control our faces, right? We practice a poker face. But whoever thinks about their feet? They're the farthest body part from our brain and the least consciously controlled. That makes them the most honest part of our body. So when that stress from lying starts to build up, the brain automatically tries to soothe itself. We call these pacifying behaviors. You gotta watch for someone touching their neck or rubbing their forehead or pursing their lips, especially right after you ask a tough question. These are subconscious signals that they're trying to calm themselves down. Okay, so let's shift gears from what the body is doing to what the words themselves are telling us. Because sometimes what a person doesn't say is even more telling than what they do. Take a look at this. Went to my girlfriend's house, went out to eat. See what's missing? The word I. This isn't just someone speaking casually. It's often a subconscious way to create distance from the lie, to literally remove themselves from the statement. It's a classic red flag. Here's a perfect side-by-side comparison. The truthful statement takes full ownership. I drove. I bought. The deceptive version sounds detached, almost like a news headline. That lack of personal commitment to the story, that is a huge indicator. So, we've talked about stressing the brain, reading body language, analyzing words, but not one of these things means anything by itself. And that brings us to the single most important rule in this entire protocol, the golden rule.
So someone touches their neck. Are they lying? No. It could just mean their neck is itchy. But what if they touch their neck and their feet suddenly point toward the door and they drop the pronoun I from their sentence all at the exact same time you ask a critical question? Now that is a cluster. This right here is the biggest takeaway. You never, ever jump to a conclusion based on one single sign. One sign is just an observation. It's when you see 3 or more signs all happening together, a real deviation from their baseline, that's when you found a pattern. And that is the professional standard. So there you have it, the protocol. It's an incredibly powerful tool. But I have to give you a warning. Once you learn to see these signs, you can't unsee them. So the real question isn't just whether you can spot a lie. It's whether you're truly prepared to handle the truths you might find.